Did you know that your daily cup of coffee, something so routine, could be quietly increasing your cancer risk? Most people think of coffee as a healthy habit. It gives you energy, sharpens your focus, and some studies even suggest it might help you live longer. But here's what many older adults don't realize. It's not always the coffee itself, but what you're adding to it, or how you're drinking it, that could be doing more harm than good. Some everyday coffee habits have been linked to increased risks of digestive issues, liver complications, and even colon cancer. And the surprising part? You'd never know it from the label or the taste. In this video, we're going to explore 5 hidden risks tied to how millions of seniors drink their coffee every morning. Risks that doctors have recently started warning about more seriously. But don't worry, this isn't about fear or giving up coffee altogether. It's about awareness and smart choices. By understanding the science behind these risks and discovering safer alternatives, you can continue enjoying your coffee with greater peace of mind. Be sure to watch until the end, because the last point is something most people overlook, and it has less to do with the coffee and more to do with what your body is doing when you drink it. So, whether you're someone who starts every day with a steaming mug, or you've had the same coffee routine for 40+ years, this might be the one small change that helps protect your health for years to come. Let's get started. Number 1. Artificial sweeteners. A hidden risk with healthy intentions. You've likely used a pink packet, a blue one, or maybe a few drops of that clear zero-calorie liquid in your coffee, especially if you've been trying to avoid sugar. While artificial sweeteners may seem like the healthier, low-calorie option, growing research suggests they might not be as safe as we once thought, particularly for long-term use. Especially for seniors, the risks become more serious. Several lab studies and long-term reviews have shown that ingredients like saccharin, aspartame, and sucralose may disrupt gut health, trigger inflammation, and even influence the development of certain cancers when consumed regularly over time. To be clear, these sweeteners are still legally approved, and you won't find any warning signs at your local coffee shop's sweetener stand. But that doesn't mean they're completely safe, especially when used daily in hot drinks like coffee, where heat can make these chemicals even more unstable. As we age, our bodies process toxins more slowly, and our immune systems aren't as strong as they used to be. That means even small exposures, repeated every day, can quietly build up over time. I once knew a woman named Elaine, 77 years old. She was always careful with her diet, switched from sugar to artificial sweeteners years ago, and believed she was making a smart, healthy choice. But over time, she began dealing with digestion issues, bloating, cramping, and unexplained fatigue. Her doctor initially couldn't find anything serious, but later, a specialist asked about her daily habits, and the conversation turned to coffee. When she removed the sweeteners and replaced them with just a bit of milk and cinnamon, her symptoms began to fade within weeks. And it's not just about digestion. Research shows artificial sweeteners can confuse the brain's response to real sugar, making you crave sweets more often and eat more throughout the day. That can quietly lead to weight gain, insulin resistance, and a whole chain reaction of health problems. If you love a little sweetness in your coffee, there are better options. Try a touch of real honey, a bit of mashed banana, or a sprinkle of cinnamon. These natural alternatives support your body instead of stressing it. It's not about giving up the joy of coffee. It's about choosing ingredients that love you back. Your body recognizes them, knows how to process them, and won't feel burdened. When we're young, our systems bounce back more easily. But with age, the small things matter more. That sweetener you add without a second thought could be sending stress signals your body can't handle the same way anymore. And over time, those signals turn into symptoms and eventually into diagnoses. So next time you reach for a sweetener packet, pause and ask yourself, is this helping me feel better or quietly weighing me down? That one small question could lead to a much healthier answer. Number 2. Non-dairy creamers. The hidden problem with trans fats. That creamy swirl in your morning coffee might feel comforting, but if it's coming from a powdered or liquid non-dairy creamer, there's a hidden danger inside that mug. Many commercial creamers contain hydrogenated oils, a major source of trans fats. These fats have been called one of the most dangerous ingredients for your health. They're so harmful that several countries have banned them, and many food companies have been forced to cut them out. But here's the catch. Even now, small amounts still show up in shelf-stable creamers, especially the ones with long ingredient lists, artificial flavors, and chemical stabilizers. And when these ingredients are heated in your coffee, they can trigger reactions in the body that you're simply not built to handle. Trans fats don't just mess with your cholesterol. They cause inflammation, disrupt your metabolism, and are increasingly being linked to higher cancer risks, especially in those who are more vulnerable, like seniors. For older adults, whose bodies are already more sensitive to inflammation and slower to detox, this little addition to your coffee could be doing a lot more damage than you realize. These effects can become even more serious over time. What starts as a simple morning routine can, over months or even years, slowly wear down the very systems that keep you healthy, active, and resilient. I remember speaking with a man named Walter, 82 years old. He was proud of his efforts. He had cut down on sugar and replaced milk with a low-fat powdered creamer. It seemed like the healthier option. But oddly, his cholesterol levels didn't improve, and he began having more frequent digestive discomfort. It wasn't until he spoke with a nutritionist that he discovered the truth. His so-called heart-healthy creamer still contained partially hydrogenated oils. Once he made the switch to unsweetened almond milk, something amazing happened. Within just 3 months, not only did his lab results improve, but the bloating he thought was just a part of aging completely disappeared. So why are these creamers such a hidden threat? Because they're often loaded with artificial flavors, French vanilla, hazelnut, caramel, and packed with additives designed to mimic the taste and feel of real dairy. But when these synthetic ingredients are repeatedly heated, they may interact in unpredictable ways. And while scientists are still studying the long-term cancer risks tied to these additives, many experts warn that the combination of trans fats, synthetic emulsifiers, and high heat can lead to oxidative stress and DNA damage, two major red flags in cancer research. If you love a creamy texture in your coffee, don't worry. There are better alternatives. Try full-fat milk, oat milk, or even a spoonful of coconut cream. These options give you richness without the chemical risk, and they come with bonus nutrients like calcium, vitamin D, and healthy fats that your body actually needs. Best of all, they don't contain mystery ingredients that turn unpredictable when exposed to heat. If you're still with me and finding this video helpful, drop a number 2 in the comments below so I know you're here and learning something valuable. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new health tip. Your support means the world, and it helps us keep sharing information that can make a real difference in your life. Now, let's move on to number 3, reheated coffee. The hidden risk of chemical breakdown, coffee often represents comfort, routine, and that familiar morning warmth. But here's the catch. What happens when we reheat it? You pour a fresh cup, set it down, get distracted, and later you zap it in the microwave or warm it up on the stove. Seems harmless, right? We'll explain why this common habit might actually be affecting your health in ways most people never consider. Maybe you reheat your coffee in the microwave, maybe on the stove. It feels like a harmless convenience, but it could be doing more harm than you realize. Research has shown that reheating brewed coffee, especially repeatedly, can break down its natural oils and acids, releasing compounds that act as irritants and, in some cases, potential carcinogens. The issue isn't just that reheated coffee tastes bitter. It's what happens on a chemical level. As coffee cools and then gets reheated, certain molecules begin to degrade and oxidize. One byproduct of this breakdown is a group of unstable compounds that increase oxidative stress in the body. What is oxidative stress? It's a state where harmful molecules, known as free radicals, start to accumulate and damage healthy cells. Over time, this damage has been linked to aging, inflammation, and even the formation of cancerous cells, particularly in the digestive tract. Now, you might be thinking, one reheated cup won't hurt me, right? And you're right. The concern isn't an occasional reheat, it's the habit. For seniors who drink coffee daily, often multiple times a day, and reheat it again and again, this repetitive exposure adds up. And here's the key point. As we age, our bodies naturally produce fewer antioxidants, which are the very tools our system uses to fight off this kind of cellular stress. That makes us more vulnerable to the effects. I once spoke with Dolores, age 79. She made a full pot of coffee every morning, drank from it all day, reheating it in the microwave or leaving it on the warmer. Over the years, she developed chronic heartburn, stomach discomfort, and a lingering sour taste in her mouth. Her doctor suspected acid reflux, but medications didn't work. Eventually, a dietitian asked about her coffee routine. When she switched to brewing smaller amounts and used a thermal carafe to keep it warm, without reheating, her symptoms started to disappear. So how can you reduce the risk? Avoid reheating coffee if possible. Use an insulated mug or thermal carafe to keep it hot longer. If you must reheat, use glass or ceramic, never plastic, and only do it once. Brew smaller, fresher batches more often. Not only will your coffee taste better, but your body will thank you for reducing the quiet stress it's been carrying behind the scenes. That second or third reheat might save you a minute, but it could be asking your body to do a lot more work in return. And over time, that toll becomes harder to ignore. Number 4. Burnt foods and the acrylamide coffee combo. Many seniors enjoy a comforting ritual, a warm cup of coffee paired with a slice of toast, a breakfast muffin, or the crispy edge of a fried dish. It feels familiar, cozy, safe. But if that toast is burnt, or that muffin edge is blackened, you might be unknowingly combining two harmful compounds, one from the coffee and one from your food, in a way that magnifies their effects. The hidden danger here is a compound called acrylamide. Most people have never heard of it, but health researchers have been warning about it for years. Number 4. Burnt foods and the acrylamide coffee combo. There's something comforting about a familiar breakfast. Hot coffee with a slice of toast, maybe a crispy potato, or a well-done sausage. But here's what most people don't realize. When you brown or burn starchy foods, you may be creating a hidden compound called acrylamide. Acrylamide forms naturally during high-heat cooking. Think over-toasted bread, dark golden potatoes, or crispy fried edges. And guess what? Coffee contains it too. The roasting of coffee beans produces acrylamide before it even reaches your cup. On its own, the amount in one food item may not seem alarming. But when you combine acrylamide-rich foods with coffee, the total exposure adds up quickly, and this can place extra stress on older bodies, especially those already dealing with inflammation or weakened detox systems. I once met a gentleman named Fred, 81 years old. Every morning, without fail, he had 2 slices of extra toasted bread, a mug of strong black coffee, and often a well-done sausage. It was his comfort, his routine. But during a routine checkup, his doctor noticed a spike in inflammatory markers. With a little encouragement, Fred made a few simple adjustments. He used a lighter toast setting, swapped sausage for fresh fruit, and switched to a lighter roast coffee. He didn't change everything overnight, but within a few months, his bloating reduced, his energy levels improved, and even his skin looked clearer. So why is acrylamide a concern? Studies suggest it may interfere with the body's ability to repair DNA and increase oxidative stress, both of which are strongly linked to the development of colon and kidney cancers. And for seniors, whose cellular turnover is slower and whose systems are naturally more fragile, that damage can accumulate silently over time. You won't feel it after one breakfast, not even after a week, but the body keeps score. Here's something else to consider. Coffee speeds up digestion. That means anything you eat alongside it, especially harmful compounds like acrylamide, can be absorbed more quickly and not in a beneficial way. That's why many health professionals now recommend that older adults avoid pairing very browned or burnt foods with coffee. Even making just 1 or 2 swaps can make a meaningful difference. Instead of burnt toast, go for a lightly golden slice. Choose a lighter roast instead of extra dark. And if you love your crisp potatoes, maybe bake them at a slightly lower temperature or enjoy them at lunch instead. These small tweaks don't take away the joy of breakfast, but they give your body a better chance to stay resilient and reduce the silent risks that often go unnoticed. Number 5. Drinking coffee on an empty stomach, especially while stressed. For many seniors, the day doesn't truly begin until that first sip of coffee. It's a familiar rhythm. Wake up, brew a cup, and sit in quiet reflection before the world stirs. No breakfast, no water, not even a deep breath sometimes. Just coffee. But here's what many don't realize. When coffee meets an empty stomach, especially during periods of emotional stress, it can slowly begin to wear down your digestive strength, raise acid levels, and trigger a hormonal response that places your entire system under quiet strain. And over time, that strain can lay the groundwork for more serious issues, including certain types of gastrointestinal cancers. So, what's really happening inside your body? When you drink coffee without food, it stimulates the release of hydrochloric acid in your stomach. But without any food to help absorb or buffer that acid, your stomach lining becomes more vulnerable to irritation. For some, this leads to heartburn. For others, it develops into ulcers or chronic inflammation of the gut. Now, add stress into the equation, grief, anxiety, or even long-term emotional fatigue, and your body begins producing cortisol, the stress hormone. Cortisol not only suppresses digestion, it also increases inflammation throughout the body. This creates a double burden, high acidity and high stress, which together can quietly weaken your internal defenses. I remember a woman named Joan, age 75. She'd been drinking coffee first thing in the morning for more than 40 years. It was her comfort, her normal. But after a tough year spent caring for her sick husband, her health began to decline. She developed persistent stomach pain and was eventually diagnosed with gastritis. During a gentle conversation, her doctor asked about her morning routine. At his suggestion, Joan began drinking water first, then eating a light breakfast before having her coffee. The change wasn't dramatic overnight, but her symptoms started to ease. She gave her body what it needed, a chance to recover. But here's something you might not see on the surface. When you drink coffee in a stressed state, it doesn't just wake you up. It amplifies your stress. Your heart rate rises, your muscles tense, and your digestion slows down for the rest of the day. That single act can trigger a chain reaction: poor digestion, weakened immunity, nutrient deficiencies, and for some, the quiet beginning of cellular damage that grows over time. Older adults are naturally more sensitive to hormonal changes, to internal inflammation, and to nutrient absorption. That's why protecting your gut and your morning routine is more important now than ever. This pattern, starting the day with coffee on an empty stomach, especially during emotional stress, can quietly chip away at your health, even though it feels like a comforting ritual. But here's the good news. One of the most protective changes you can make is also one of the simplest. Just stop drinking coffee on an empty stomach. That doesn't mean giving up your coffee. It just means shifting the order. Start with a glass of water. Have a piece of toast, a boiled egg, or a bit of fruit. Give your body something solid to work with before introducing the acidity and stimulation of caffeine. You might be surprised how this one change can help you feel more grounded, improve your mood, and even make digestion easier throughout the day. And if you're going through an emotionally heavy time, grief, worry, or chronic stress, consider delaying coffee until you've had time to breathe, stretch, or even talk to someone supportive. Because coffee, like any stimulant, doesn't just energize, it amplifies what's already there. If you're calm, it can uplift. But if you're anxious, it can intensify that inner storm. The goal isn't just to wake up. It's to start your day gently, in a way that protects the body that's worked so hard for you all these years. At this stage in life, health isn't just about what you consume. It's about how and when. And while coffee has many benefits, pairing it with stress and an empty stomach is one of the most avoidable risks facing older adults today. With just a simple shift in timing and rhythm, you can continue enjoying what you love, while protecting the parts of your body that quietly carry you through each day. You've just discovered 5 everyday habits that many seniors follow without realizing they could be increasing their cancer risk, especially when combined with coffee. But this isn't a message meant to scare you. It's a message of awareness, and more importantly, opportunity. Because every one of these risks can be reduced, even reversed, with a few small but powerful changes. Swap artificial sweeteners for natural alternatives. Ditch non-dairy creamers in favor of real, nourishing options. Avoid reheating coffee. Make a fresh cup instead. Skip burnt toast and blackened edges with your brew. And never drink coffee on an empty, stressed-out stomach. These are tiny adjustments, but they can create a huge impact, especially as your body becomes more sensitive with age. You've spent decades building routines and shaping habits that helped you survive and thrive. But now is the time to revisit them with fresh insight, gentle curiosity, and the wisdom that only comes with age. Because what worked for your body at 40 might not serve you the same way at 70 or 80. This isn't about restriction, it's about evolution. And when your choices align with what your body truly needs, you don't just age, you thrive. And that's not weakness, it's evolution. Your body has changed, your needs have changed, and now your habits can change too. The best part? You don't need to overhaul your entire life to protect your health. You just need to make a few mindful swaps. Choose creamers with real ingredients. Enjoy your toast, but skip the burnt edges. Don't microwave the same cup of coffee 2 or 3 times. Eat before you sip. And most importantly, Respect the quiet signals your body gives you, because the sooner you start listening, the longer and better you'll live. That's not just science. That's self-respect in motion. If this video helped you see your coffee routine in a new light, or reminded you of something your body's been trying to tell you, take a quiet moment to reflect. What's one small thing you can do differently tomorrow? You don't have to be perfect. You just have to head in a healthier direction, one sip at a time. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts mean a lot to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your stories gives us motivation and encouragement to keep creating content that informs and uplifts. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue making content that truly matters. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.